What's up, Red Carpet Queens fam? Get ready for a rapid-fire rundown of the hottest Hollywood headlines that are making waves right now. First up, a massive movement is sweeping through Hollywood as over 3,000 film industry figures, including Emma Stone and Jonathan Glazer, are pledging to boycott Israeli film institutions. We're also hearing directly from the Israeli Screenwriters Guild chair, Nadav Ben-Simon, who's calling this Hollywood boycott pledge deeply troubling and sharing his perspective on fostering dialogue. And don't miss our deep dive into how Emma Stone, Ayo Edebiri, and over 1,000 others are taking a stand by refusing to work with institutions they say are implicated in human rights abuses. Make sure you're subscribed and the bell is hit. Hollywood stars launch major boycott of Israeli film institutions. A significant wave of protest is emerging from Hollywood, with over 3,000 actors, filmmakers, and industry professionals pledging to boycott Israeli film institutions. This powerful collective action, spearheaded by the group Film Workers for Palestine, is a direct response to the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Signatories like Emma Stone, Gail Garcia Bernal, Olivia Colman, and Ava DuVernay have committed to avoiding collaborations with Israeli production companies, festivals, and distributors deemed complicit in human rights abuses. This bold move is inspired by historical activism, specifically the 1980s boycott of apartheid South Africa, where filmmakers like Jonathan Demme and Martin Scorsese refused to screen their work. The current pledge specifically targets institutional complicity, emphasizing that the boycott is not aimed at individual Israeli artists, but at organizations allegedly tied to human rights violations. The open letter, published in multiple languages, highlights a commitment to ending complicity in what they describe as genocide and apartheid. The Israeli film industry, valued at around $80 million annually, faces potential repercussions as these prominent figures withdraw their support. In response, the Friends of the Israeli Film and TV Producers Association has called the boycott profoundly misguided, arguing that targeting creators undermines dialogue and silences diverse narratives. They emphasize their commitment to peace and using storytelling for understanding and healing. Will this Hollywood boycott truly impact the Israeli film industry, or is it a symbolic gesture? Stay tuned as we unpack the full story. And next, we hear directly from the Israeli Screenwriters Guild about their reaction to this massive Hollywood pledge. Israeli Screenwriters Guild chair slams Hollywood boycott as deeply troubling. In the wake of a widespread Hollywood boycott targeting Israeli film institutions, the chairman of the Israeli Screenwriters Guild, Nadav Ben-Simon, has voiced strong criticism, labeling the pledge as deeply troubling. The movement, initiated by Film Workers for Palestine and signed by over 1,800 prominent figures, including Emma Stone and Olivia Colman, aims to cease collaborations with entities implicated in human rights abuses. Ben-Simon argues that such boycotts do not promote peace, and instead harm those actively engaged in fostering dialogue and understanding between peoples. He highlighted that Israeli creators have consistently worked to reflect the complexities of their reality, often incorporating Palestinian narratives and offering criticism of government policies. He stressed that many Israeli filmmakers have collaborated with Palestinian creatives to build bridges and promote a culture of peace. While the pledge, signed by stars like Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos, explicitly targets institutions rather than individuals, Ben-Simon points out the interconnectedness within the Israeli film industry. He suggests that boycotting institutions inevitably impacts individual creators, as many Israeli films receive funding from state-budgeted entities. This perspective raises questions about the practical implications and effectiveness of the boycott structure. Can dialogue truly bridge the divide when major industry players are taking such opposing stances? And coming up, we're diving into the growing list of Jewish creatives who are now joining this significant Hollywood boycott. Emma Stone, Jonathan Glazer lead growing Hollywood boycott of Israeli institutions. The boycott initiated by Film Workers for Palestine continues to gain significant momentum, with an expanding roster of over 3,000 Hollywood figures, including acclaimed names like Emma Stone and Jonathan Glazer, pledging to cease working with Israeli film and cultural institutions. This movement, which began circulating days ago, is notable for its broad appeal, attracting both prominent non-Jewish and Jewish creatives. Among the Jewish signatories are Jonathan Glazer, director of the Holocaust film The Zone of Interest, and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Annie Baker. This participation is particularly resonant given the historical context of boycotts and the complexities surrounding the conflict. The pledge specifically targets institutions such as the Jerusalem Film Festival and production companies, stating a commitment to avoid engagement with those implicated in genocide and apartheid against the Palestinian people. The group explicitly notes that the boycott does not extend to individual Israeli artists. Once again, Israeli film associations have voiced opposition. The Friends of the Israeli Film and TV Producers Association described the boycott as profoundly misguided, asserting that it targets the wrong people and silences creators who foster dialogue. Nadav Ben-Simon, chair of the Israeli Screenwriters Guild, echoed these sentiments, calling the boycott counterproductive and emphasizing that Israeli filmmakers often collaborate with Palestinian creatives to promote peace. With so many stars taking a stand, what does this mean for the future of international film collaborations? And in our final story, we look at how Emma Stone and Ayo Edebiri are among over 1,000 others making this pledge to boycott Israeli film institutions. Hollywood stars pledge boycott of Israeli film institutions amid Gaza crisis. A significant movement is underway in Hollywood, with over 1,000 actors and filmmakers, including prominent names like Emma Stone, Ayo Edebiri, and Mark Ruffalo, signing a pledge to boycott Israeli film institutions. Launched by Filmworkers for Palestine, the pledge calls on peers to halt collaborations with organizations they believe are complicit in actions against Palestinian civilians, citing concerns over genocide and apartheid. The initiative, inspired by the 1987 filmmakers United Against Apartheid movement that targeted South Africa, aims to refuse to screen films, attend events, or work with Israeli festivals, cinemas, broadcasters, and production companies. The group, which includes signatories like Olivia Colman, Javier Bardem, and Riz Ahmed, emphasizes that their target is institutional complicity, not individual Israeli artists. They are also proposing contract clauses to ensure projects align with boycott guidelines, in collaboration with legal advocacy groups. Israeli industry groups, such as the Israeli Producers Association, have responded critically. They argue the boycott is profoundly misguided, suggesting it hinders dialogue and silences creators who present diverse narratives and work towards peace. They highlight that Israeli artists often collaborate with Palestinian creators, and that boycotting institutions inevitably impacts individuals due to the interconnected funding structures within the industry. This Hollywood boycott is making serious waves, and we've covered the key players and their statements. Now, let's do a quick recap of all the top stories. And that's your Red Carpet Queens News Blast. We saw Hollywood stars like Emma Stone and Ava DuVernay boycotting Israeli film institutions, the Israeli Screenwriters Guild chair calling the pledge deeply troubling, and over 3,000 creatives taking a stand. Don't miss out on any of the drama, hit that like button, subscribe for all the exclusive updates, ring that notification bell, drop a comment below, and follow us on all our socials. We'll see you next time.